Welcome, warriors. It is your end of the week, your Friday night follow up here at the Warriors. It is October 11th, 2024. And did you know that today is the International Day of the Girl? I want to go over that a little bit because nobody seems to be talking about it. And what exactly does that mean? Because I want to talk about girls here in America. But first, I want to make sure everybody can hear me. So please weigh in. I see we have Joseph with us, Carmel, Frederick came here from Lionel. Well, you may have come here from Lionel, but you're going to learn with the Warriors. But thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining me this evening. I feel like we have a couple of headlines we must discuss. I want to hear your thoughts on different things. Let's just see. Trash. Lionel just sent me here. Like button smashed. Hail chat. Thank you. I want everybody to really make sure you are subscribed to this channel. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything. I want everybody to hit the little like button, obviously. I want everybody to share any of this information we talk about, should they see fit, on their platforms, because I want to honor our hashtag community creates change. Hey, Mike G, I'm going to say hey back to you. Thanks for joining us. Kim's here and present. There's Hillbilly, 5x5. Good. Um, yeah, I'm going to ask you the top of the show, program, or discussion, chat, whatever you like to call it. I like to kind of just call it a chat, right? More grassroots, more homey. Somebody comment to me, how dare you ask us to like when we didn't even hear what you have to say? Look, what I have to say is things you may not hear in other places. But to each their own. Everybody is welcome to have their opinions about things. But I'm asking everybody to subscribe to the channel because I want to honor our hashtag community creates change. How are we going to get the work done when all of this, my head is actually exploding today. So I want to start with a couple of things. Top of the list is interesting evening last night with some of my old Broadway colleagues right out there on the street, honoring a former colleague. I have to tell you, it felt really good. It felt like the old New York. It felt like the rush of, people going into the theaters, people excited. I could hear the buzz, talking about going into that show, going into that, the other show. And it felt good to see colleagues, people from the theater community come together. It truly is a love, an understanding. We had actors, musicians, family members, just all kinds of things, but it just reminded me of the old New York. So I'm here to say that I see the pendulum slightly swinging back, and it was a really good feeling. We had some speeches, we had some impromptu, and it was a real sense of being there, a real sense of a New York moment, a real sense of, I'm always looking at the audience. So it was the people who attended, the friends, the family, judging, kind of just to see, to feel it. And I could just follow along with me here. Everybody was so happy to be in person together, just talking. Joseph, thank you. Thank you. Anyway, so I loved that last night. And Crypto Domini, now let me get this straight. Thank you very much. My wife's middle name, Lynn, 1N. Thanks, Mrs. L. Well, you know what I say? All Lyns are great. But we'll leave that because we'll just leave that one. But welcome and thank you for being so supportive. I really felt good about last night. And always when it's a moment like that in New York, it empowers me to work harder, do better, share the word of what we're doing with a lot of people who just always don't have any idea what's really going on, right? But today is October 11th, International Day of the Girl. Now, I am not a fan of the UN, if you follow along, but they put out this movement several years ago, and I am a fan of a Day of the Girl. But that should be every day of the girl. And I tell you this because, okay, where can I go with this? Today I'm getting these press releases. I'm hearing these tidbits from online about Julia Roberts and be a man and this and that. And stand up for men and Barack Obama. And he's out there, man up for Kamala, whatever they're saying. Because I kind of block it out, to be honest with you. I am too busy doing the real work, that is necessary to keep America safe and families and kids safe. Um, but Vicky, sorry, nobody cares about New York City. My first time here, waiting for. Okay, Vicky, nobody cares about New York City. I guess you don't have to listen. I don't. I don't. I care about New York City. A lot of people care about New York City. This is the bedrock of a lot of the arts and entertainment, and so we care about New York City. If that's what you mean, I'm not exactly sure what you mean, but anyway, I care and love New York City, and so I was thinking to myself, where are the men? We need more men to stand up for girls and women as far as sex trafficking, exploitation, abuse, and have their voices heard as, the cheerleaders also for girls. Are we really standing up for girls? What does International Day of the Girl mean? Um, thank you, Maribel, because Maribel cares about New York City and she lives here. So thank you. Thank you. You're joining me. You are my twin in caring about the city. And why should we give in to all of the nonsense going on? This is our city, not theirs. Anyway, I digress. But I wanted to say about International Day of the Girl, if we really cared about girls, we would not have this normalization of the sexualization that has just ramped up in the last couple of years, exposing our girls. It goes for all girls and boys, but let's talk about girls right now since it's Day of the Girl. And um, we would be focusing more on empowering them, on mentoring them, on really cheerleading them on, right? Linda Haslett's here. Linda, I can't wait to see you soon. Thank you very much. Miss you, but we're going to see you soon. Love you. But what I wanted to say about this is, we have something, the equality model. Now, you got to bear with me. Why do we think in New York State, I'm using my home state, it's okay to sell people's bodies, girls' bodies, right? Why do they want to legalize prostitution? Now, don't go off on me right here, because we know from our studies that 97% or thereabouts of people in prostitution are forced into it. They're not doing it of their free will. So don't give me that argument. It's their body, it's their choice. They can do what they want. I'm not talking about that at all. You must follow along. I am talking about the force, fraud, and coercion. Edie Crowley, I'm totally digressing, everybody, but stick with me. I want everybody to see something. Edie, look what came in the mail. Can everybody see this? Edie painted this plaque, which will be going, Edie, thank you so much, to a survivor. And her note on it is for the lovely survivor. And on the back, she put a song, It's Only Love That Gets You Through, by Sade. Remember her? Sade. So this is going to be going out, Edie. I want you to know. And we got your other artwork as well. But this one really touched me because it's going directly. I left the post-it on it for the survivor because this helps them. And you know why it helps them? They say somebody cares about me. Somebody is looking at me. Somebody's thinking of me. And that's all it takes sometimes to get somebody really going down the right track. But let's get back to this, why people want to legalize this prostitution, right? It is such exploitation. It is such abuse. When I'm telling you 97% or thereabouts are forced into it. Real Day of the Girl, we'd be talking more about this. Real Day of the Girl, we'd be talking about that horrible border where all the girls are just coming in and sex and labor trafficked and put into forced servitude. Yes, in the United States, people are bringing these girls into their homes to be domestics, right? To take care of their children. Yes, it's going on. And what's going on here? So what's our Day of the Girl really about? But getting back to this prostitution that is escalating, becoming more normalized, encouraging, in my opinion, the sex buying. We're not having any end of demand because it's all available. So why not, right? Is disgusting. When I have to see this Julia Roberts and talk about man up, whatever she said. I'm not really sure what she said. Again, I tune out. She should be talking about the girls. You have a platform, Julia? I'm not really sure. I mean, I know she's an actress. She used to do a couple of great movies. I don't know what she's done recently. I saw some horrible thing with my husband. It might have been Netflix, produced by what is supposed to be, I'll put that in air quotes, kind of some production company maybe 6 months ago, Michelle and Barack Obama. It was a terrible thing about the future of America, and it was like all falling apart and everything out of control, and the kids' teeth fell out. It was a horrible piece of thing, like a scary thing, but just stupid on top of it. So I don't really know what Julia Roberts does anymore, except if I didn't know better, I'd say she's a tool of the government, but we'll leave that for another program. So what are all these people talking about? Anybody who has any kind of platform, right? Recognition should be using it for these things we are talking about. Let us truly talk about empowering the girl. Let us truly talk about let's get men to the table. Men also for our boys, the number one demo escalating in sex trafficking in America is the boy 9 to 17. Our boys, who's talking about that? Nobody at all. We have to talk about it. Why is this happening? We cannot allow it. You see how our government, we got these open borders. We got a lot going on. They're not doing much. 24 days. I will never tell you how to vote. I tell you this all the time. I will tell you, you have to vote. We have to try everything in our power. And if every American could just look at policy and weigh it that way, not party lines, policy, policy, policy. Was our country better? Was sex trafficking, labor trafficking, human trafficking? I will attest to the last administration did and was doing a much better job internally with human trafficking. This I do know and stand by that fact. Not to mention building a wall and planned on building more wall. So I'll just leave it at that. But really, I mean, everybody will cover Diddy, including me, because I think it's a very important case. I call him Dirty Diddy, and another couple of people commented and said that's not his name. Well, for me, his name is Dirty Diddy because he's a dirty guy. No matter how you slice it, I'm calling him Dirty Diddy. You can certainly call him whatever you'd like to call him. I'm calling him Sean Combs, aka Dirty Diddy. I don't obviously I get called for other media to speak about this. I'm on with Nancy Grace a lot. He came to court yesterday, not in handcuffs, shackles, nothing like that. His family was allowed, his children, his mother was there. Very nice. But I don't like the idea the media is reporting on. He's smiling. He wasn't in handcuffs. He's chatting up with his lawyers. He's this, he's that. We don't care. But again, this is low-hanging fruit. That gets people's attention, so we talk about it, the importance of the case. Now, as I predicted, and I'm not a lawyer, for the third time, his bail was denied. I love that. I'm sorry, but I love that. And also, his trial is set for May 5th, so he'll be in the Manhattan Detention Center in Brooklyn until May 5th, that hellhole, but he wholeheartedly deserves it, in my opinion. And I know you are not guilty. You're innocent until proven guilty. I don't care. He belongs in that hellhole. That's all I'll say. Dirty Diddy sounds too much like a cute cartoon character. Not to me, Taylor. Not to me at all. But, and Joseph says, at this point, yes, I would love to cover Diddy with dirt. Sorry. The importance of this case and constantly talking about it is not only is this case for the alleged victims, survivors of Dirty Diddy, but the survivors we work with and talk to who tells us, they say that we want to see accountability because that other recent case with the person with the fifth letter of the alphabet, we just don't say his name around here. There was not full accountability, in our opinion. Who were the other people? There's one person in prison, the other person not around. So they are looking at this case as an overall case seeking justice, seeking there is accountability, that power does not win kind of thing. And you really have to understand the mindset. You cannot be victim blaming when you have such a vulnerable, I don't know, let's first say for an example, a 17, 18-year-old girl or boy, but in this case it was girls with Dirty Diddy, being offered, limos and some wardrobe and rub shoulders with celebs and influencers and blah, 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 blah. And we're going to help you. You want to be a singer? You want to be a dancer? We're going to help you. Come on. Come on. We'll fly you in. Almost these open casting call type things. Remember, they're still kids. No matter what they look like, where they come from, their brains aren't fully developed. They might be in this horrible home life or living almost in the streets. We have to remember where people come from. And this is their chance just to even get a free plane ride. Now, I'm not in any way endorsing this, so don't misconstrue that. But they're going to do it, right? They're going to do it. And I don't know, people believe, this is the part that astounds me a lot. They really believe what they hear. The same could be said, people watch Fox News because so many people have said to me, well, I heard it on Fox. I saw it on Fox. People watch CNN and they say to me, I heard it on CNN. I saw it on CNN. That other network, I don't even mention that MS, whatever it is, C network, show, platform. I don't mention that one at all. But it is so shocking that these most important issues that of missing and unaccompanied minors, from the border, still nobody is talking about, in excess of 500,000 that we know about. I haven't heard much border talk lately. All the fentanyl flowing across, nobody really talking about that. And the kids are here. Okay, so where are 500,000? We'll use that as the number. We do know, which the Warriors did speak about, Trendy that some are catching on to, have infiltrated. They just arrested the Barbie Trendy. Did anybody see that? Because she was getting these illegal teens and women, once they got here, she was putting them directly into sex trafficking. And what I want to say about Trendy, they will grab your daughter, your relative, anyone female, they're vicious and violent, and they will grab you off the streets. They have no feelings. They have no anything. I don't even know what to compare these people. I don't even want to call them people. These are hardened, I don't know what. And I don't like when people say, oh, they're animals. Our animals are too good for that. We cannot compare them to these vicious, violent things that will just do whatever they want with anybody they want, and they'll take anything they want. I want to get that point across. So I want to get back, the biggest thing also, and what a slap in the face to any kind of victim or survivor of sexual abuse, sex trafficking, sexual exploitation, that a lot of the media was covering this Dirty Diddy with his lawyer today, saying, well, he doesn't like the food in prison. Well, we don't care. Give him a juice box and some cereal and let it go. Like, we don't. This is the big story that people are grabbing onto and covering. He's upset with the food they're giving him, his diet. Oh, well. Let's get to some comments. Now remember, we do always have to say innocent until proven guilty. We discuss things, right? We discuss maybe. We can't just outright call people for things we don't have proof of. We always have to be based on proof, which is why the upcoming trial in May is so important. A lot can happen between now and May. There could be more charges brought forward. There could be, I hope not, settlements. We don't know. Because I was just very disturbed the other day when the lawyer, Tony Busby in Houston, was reaching out, right? His hotline garnered 12,000 calls the other day. And he already had 3,285 cases lined up. He had 120 vetted, he said he's representing, that they were putting out the law firm demand letters, and some of these celebs were settling up. That's disheartening. I know that's what happens, but then that means we don't hear about it. We don't know about it. They get away. Money is king, right? Money pays off. So we want to see action and justice with this case of Dirty Diddy, and we want our victims talked about and focus put on them. Lori Lewis, thank you, Lori. I don't know. It seems to be working. Let's see. There's Edie, our cheerleader. Please hit that like button for Mrs. L. Thank you. Yeah, we need this because we need to get into the algorithms. And sorry, that's just the way it goes because I want the warriors. I want what we talk about. I want the borders. I want girls, young women, boys, men, all these issues. I want them at the forefront, not all the other stuff. Um, yeah, Joseph, I'm not going to get into the occult. That's like a separate program, but we will get into that at some point because that's very prevalent. I know here in New York, they put the story out, I want to say about 2 weeks ago, that they were finding all these animals over in, I think it was Queens. And traditionally, used for all of those sacrifices and things. And the mind goes in other places as well. I think you all know what I'm talking about. But again, we have to have more proof, concrete proof. We can't have just, hearsay. But there's so much. Remember, I always tell you all of these things are like a big wheel with a lot of spokes. And each spoke is making that wheel go crazy. So we have 24 days, I think that's correct, to the election. I want everybody to focus on policy, policy, policy. Um, Also, a story that came out today was the headline that R. Kelly in prison. You remember him? Illegally married. I'm dating myself. Does anybody remember Aaliyah? He illegally married her at 15. Nobody really talks about this. I mean, he is in prison now, canceled, whatever you want to call it, deserves to be in prison. It was proven. But he married her, but he lied. And they said she was 18 on the paperwork. She was 15. Unfortunately, she was in a plane crash and no more Aaliyah. But his daughter came out today. Her name is Joanne Kelly, but she goes by some kind of name now like Abi, ABI something. She's 26, and she came forward to say she is a victim of her father's abuse. And I went through all of what she said and just different things. And again, we don't know if it's true, but the way her words were and things she recalled and things she described, if I didn't know better, my new favorite phrase, I would say she is also a victim of abuse, very much. Looking forward to the weekend. I'll be helping clean up a park because the Warriors, we do everything to keep community creates change. We do everything that we can to make the environment better for everybody. But we also look at that. This is Mental Health Awareness Month, week. Is everybody aware of that? And how we have, you should know it by now, a mental health crisis for our youth in the United States. I would also say for all people, right? A lot of crazy going on out there. And getting out with nature, this is your reminder. We preach this at the Warriors. If it's taking a walk, yeah, that's free. Getting out in the sun when there's sun. Raking, just going out there, being with nature always makes one feel better, right? Instead of hiding inside behind a locked door, staying in bed, you've got to force yourself to get out in nature. So part of what we do at the Warriors is always therapeutic in connection with nature. So this being Mental Health Awareness Week, not many are talking about it at all. But, I put issues on linswarriors.org for you to read. Also, NAMI, National Alliance Mental Illness.org, NAMI. Just go and read about these things. Be aware of the kids, especially, or your family members. They just may need somebody to say to them, let's talk. I mean, you're not accusing, you're not, something wrong with you. You seem weird, you seem off. You sit down, you make that cup of tea, or you just talk to a friend, whatever. Just like, let's just talk. Let's just, um, and gently move in. And you can see, because the number one thing, being there for somebody. That's like the number one thing, being there and checking up on somebody. That is it. Let's see. Let me see if there's some more comments here. Crypto, thank you. Crypto Domini, I should say. We can't call them criminals if they won't jail them. You know what? You can't get me started on that because we'd be here another 12 hours. I'm not understanding. I'm currently in communication with somebody that is trying to come here. She's in New York. correctly from another country, and she's every way possible, and they're giving her a hard time. And these other people are just walking in, right? Uh, what is that about, right? You try to do the right thing, and they deny you. They make it hard for you. Why would that be? But you could just go out to San Diego, get in the water in a boat, come up to the shore, I guess, and walk in and disappear into America. Everything is upside down. We know this, right? The idea is we know this, so we have to reverse it in our own lanes, in our own homes and communities, because we can't solve the big picture right away. Well, I don't know. When we vote, that's a start. I'll just leave it at that. Um, Fight the fine fight, Mrs. L. That's what Mimi says. Thank you. You know, we have to fight it together in our own ways, right? When I read the in-depth study from Reuters about OnlyFans, if you're familiar with that platform, that really out of England came into prominence. Really, it was around since maybe it was developed in 2016, but came into prominence here during that whole C period. I think you know. I don't want to say that word either. Around 2020. In 2023, they recorded 1.3 billion in profit. Now, this article, though, is very interesting. I put it Lynn's Warriors Twitter and Facebook. Remember, everything's called Lynn's Warriors to make it easy for you. How it's trickling down OnlyFans, because people would go on it, suggestive photos, suggestive content, suggestive dialogue to make money, right? Everybody's a star now, right? By virtue of the internet. But how now? They're seeing it has destroyed families. It has destroyed people with these porn addictions. There's a story about a husband who maxed out all the credit cards, all these horrible things. But it's worth reading. If that's where people are going, look, I don't have to tell you there's something so wrong with our country and all of this. So we have to not be overwhelmed. I tell you this all the time. We have to get our kids away from this normalization, because the content of the article is that OnlyFans now, it's been in our faces, people using it, regular people, anybody. It could be a nurse, it could be a mom, anybody. It could be a dad. Normalizing. If they keep telling you something over and over again, you become habituated. It becomes normalized to you. So that's what's happening. And we have to fight. And that means open and honest communication. That means talking to our kids. That means talking to each other. That is why I opened this with last night with such a joy to be out, with people, seeing everybody converse, making eye contact, hugging. I hadn't seen some of the people in 20 years. 20 years. And it was like that. Just pick right up, back with it. We're there. Good feelings. It was really, really tremendous. And it's easy to get upset. I get very upset. I saw something where Department of Homeland Security, my ARCUS chief, head, whatever he's supposed to be called. I have a hard time even acknowledging that. Went to North Carolina for a couple of hours. It's reported 5 to 6 hours on a plane surveying. I don't know what took him so long, surveying some damage. Now, here's the part that got to me. Came home on the plane and went straight to Nobu in Washington, D.C. Now, if you know anything about Nobu, it's a very, very expensive restaurant. I would say it's got to be at least $100 a person. But, if you're going to do that, don't put it out in the public. But frankly, if you are a government servant, that's what I'm going to call these people, or they should be. Why are you doing that? We have Helene, we have Milton, we have an election coming up. We have so much controversy. We have so much going on. And you're going to show yourself going to a Nobu in Washington, D.C.? There is something wrong with that picture completely. This guy should have been down in the Milton area, or he should have stayed in North Carolina to be talking with families, law enforcement, really on the ground, maybe staying overnight there. Flying back because you wanted a photo op? No good. Let's look at some of the comments. Um, thumbs up. I like that one. Let's see. Yes, with the animals, you are completely correct. And Mimi belongs to NAMI. I mean, it's a wonderful organization. Just to read, they have so much content on their website, nami.org, everybody. Just to, you might think, for instance, a child or a grandchild, is this normal teenage behavior, or is this they're because a lot of people tell me this. This is why I'm telling you this. Or are they just being like extra weird? Like, so remember, there's power in numbers. So if you read up and get some facts, remember these are facts on the NAMI website. You can say, okay, I think this is normal teenage behavior. I'll keep an eye on it. No, no, he's not coming out of his bedroom. He's not eating. He's all of a sudden was a nice kid. Now he's horrible. Like, you've got to look into things. What do I tell you all the time? You can buy drugs, illicit drugs on the internet, 2 clicks on Snapchat. And that being said, we have to be very aware about this poisonous fentanyl. There's a wonderful new channel. It's up. It just began on Roku if you have that. It is called the Recovery Channel Network. And the Warriors will be focused in the near future on these different chats we have, right? Show, media, Warriors Media. And it's going to be everything that has to do not only with recovery, that's the name of it, but it's going to be health and wellness. It's going to be everything about kids. It's going to be about fentanyl, obviously. But still, when we have, let's see, every day we have, now remember, the numbers are always murky. We never get the straight numbers, but we have hundreds of people a week dying of fentanyl poisoning, illicit fentanyl poisoning. Now, if that can't be the main subject of the election alone with these open borders and it's all coming through, we know everything from China through Mexico, handled by the cartels, infiltrated into all 50 states, getting into our middle and high schools. If I know all this and I'm telling you, why can't they just put an end to it? Yeah, I know. Money, but our kids are dying. People are dying. So we're going to be addressing this. There'll be no channel like this in development, but it's already up on Roku if you have it. Look for Recovery Channel Network TV or Recovery Channel TV, and there's some content already up there because we want the message to get out to everybody about everything. And you may want to just sit in your own home. You're embarrassed, you're shy, which you really shouldn't be in 2024. But you maybe feel more comfortable just being at home watching different things, right? So that's fine. So this is very exciting. Look for that. And the other thing I wanted to talk about is we're very happy that Milton, I know there was a lot of, death, because one death is a lot of death and destruction, but that there wasn't more, because didn't they scare you when the mayor of, I guess it was Tampa, was, I don't want to even use the words here on the YouTube, could be sensitive, but I'll just paraphrase: run for your lives or else, kind of thing. And again, we want to acknowledge and pray for those people that were hurt, are homeless, and definitely not with us any longer. But also, the Carolinas still cleaning up, and Georgia and Florida had 2 storms back to back. I thought DeSantis, getting a little political here, I think he handled it beautifully. His rollout, his attention, he was attacked on, I saw some brief clip, and he handled it very well. And that is the kind of leadership we need in times of crisis and disasters like this. And remember, and I did a video on it, you can find it on the channel, wherever there is a disaster, disruption, displacement, there is trafficking. Mike G, I want to say thank you because Mike G has become a YouTube member. And that is a great reminder, Mike, that you can become a member of Lynn's Warriors. So come on, everybody, step it all up. Our goal is always education, supporting survivors. Let's see. Joseph says, both you and Lionel are so helpful, like a compass to keep us focused on what we can address on the table. Thank you. I need that so much, Joseph. Thank you. I don't know how focused I am because my mind has about 100 things going through it right now that I want to tell you, but I don't want to like throw so much at you. You can't focus. But I want us to finish up and focus on a couple of things. It is indeed Mental Health Awareness Week, and be very aware of your family members and friends around you. Remember the littlest of concern, asking a question, are you okay? Let's get together. And I know you all know this, right? Like these are just common sense kind of take actions, mean the world to somebody who is facing crisis within, right? People hide a lot of things. So be aware of mental health awareness. I know we have these weeks and days and all that. I feel like I wake up every day. I see cookie day. I see pizza day. Look, mental health awareness is every day, right? So be aware of that. Understand the importance of the Sean Combs case, that this would prove if he is held accountable eventually, and his circle, and all these alleged complicit people that we're waiting to hear about. He didn't do this alone for all these decades. If they are held accountable, if all of the survivors and victims, not only of the alleged victims, the ones the warriors work with, know they're waiting because people don't believe them. The justice system does not handle it correctly. This would be really a breakthrough. It would be, when I say that pendulum is swinging back, it would be that. So we want to keep an eye about that, and don't jump. People are just jumping on and putting all kinds of things out there for the clicks and the likes and the this one and that one's. You can't say this one and that one they were involved because they're in a picture, right? No, we need the proof. So just be aware of facts and things like that. Uh, Joel says Mayorkas is a jerk. He does these things on purpose to our faces, elitist. I don't know what he is, except he's a failure. I'm going to call him a failure. He doesn't do his job. Let's see what we have here. But thank you for all these comments, by the way. Wait, let me go back here and get rid of that. Let's see. I'm really getting the swing of this, everybody. Yeah, the government, yeah, they are supposed to be working. I actually go to Washington and remind people of this, or Albany, our state capital. We pay taxes and they work for us. Somehow that whole messaging got turned around in the last decade or so. And we have to keep reminding people about that, right? Because again, the issues we talk about on the Warriors are bipartisan. They really belong to no political party, right? You would think everybody can get on board with kids, family safety, tech safety, but they can't. And I'm talking about it goes for Democrats and it goes for Republicans. My experience has been people go, for the most part, both parties, right up to the line. Don't cross it over to make things better. Now, that being said, we do have some pending legislation that I always talk about, the Kids Online Safety Act, that I need all of you. I always give you a takeaway, right? We have to get this passed. It in no way impedes on anybody's privacy. If you look this up online, Kids Online Safety Act, KOSA, you will be deluged with nothing but bad press. And why is that? Figure it out. I think you know what I mean. And also, big tech, the lobby, a lot of money. Press rises to the top. Money talks, right? I'm here to say the Kids Online Safety Act does nothing to affect your privacy. It is simply asking the big tech platforms to, the burden is on them. If there's anything with child sexual abuse material, CSAM, it is up to them. They have a duty of care. Take that down. We hear the arguments of we don't have enough staff, we don't have enough moderators. Well, you're making billions of dollars off of everybody, especially our kids. Hire more people. Let's have more transparency. That is another problem. So, Kids Online Safety Act. I urge all of you to go to house.gov, senate.gov, find out who represents you. It'll give you an email, it'll give you a phone number, it'll give you everything. Write to them and say, I want Kids Online Safety Act passed. That's all you have to write, short and sweet. We need numbers. They keep numbers. You are a constituent. This helps us. This also, right now, has tremendous bipartisan support. This was introduced by Senator Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee, doing a lot of great child and family work, along with Senator Richard Blumenthal, Democrat from Connecticut. They have done an outstanding job with all of this, and we need to pay back. We need to be on board. We need to get our uh, representatives as co-sponsors, or at least chime up about this, talk about this. This is a must. It's sitting in the House. We got to get this scheduled. We got to get this passed, because I believe if we can get this first, this would be the first piece of child safety legislation since 1998. Now, don't you think by now we could have at least one more thing to help us along the way? Because I believe we have a lot of other bills, especially going into AI, image-based sexual abuse, all these horrible things. We have to push them forward and have some guardrails. And also, big tech has to be responsible, not the moms and dads and us as people, right? They're making the money. They have to be responsible. So join me. That's your homework for tonight. Make sure, I know all of you will vote. I know that. And I know all of you, it's tough out there. I agree. But you know what? We also have a lot of good things going on. We have a lot of precious things in America we need to preserve. We need to educate our kids. We need to talk to our kids more. We need to take care of each other, right? And have that personal connection. So I'm going to leave you with just be aware. Try to tune out. Try to just take care of yourselves. That is the best advice, and get out there with nature. Let me go through the comments and see. Your cousin was poisoned. He was 40. I don't know if you're regarding like illicit fentanyl, the opioids, but probably, because there's a lag here, and you're probably referring to that, but you can clarify that. Let's see. Extra Mile, thank you very much. Saw you on Nancy Grace again. Great exposure, Lynn. Well, look, I love being on Nancy Grace. I have a very tough time, and she's fantastic, Nancy, and everybody who works with her is fantastic. But every time I watch it back, I'm like yelling at everybody because I get so worked up. I get so, hearing the other guests. We have an expert panel, and I want to get in there, and I want to, get those facts in there, and I want to like speak up, but I'm very respectful. And I love being on that show, and it's truly an honor. And Nancy truly is wonderful. So you'll be seeing more of that. Thank you for acknowledging that, though. We're doing a lot of good things coming up, and probably you'll see me doing Dirty Diddy with her top of the week. I would say that. Sitting beside someone is wonderful support. Exactly, Leanne Burns. I mean, all it takes. It doesn't cost money to ask somebody how you're doing. It doesn't cost money to say to somebody, I don't know, a neighbor, what, you want to take a walk in the park? All these little things that don't necessarily cost any money are what are important in life. Like everybody knows that, right? Yeah, I hope so. Hand signal for the taking. Now, if you mean this, we have that hand signal, if somebody's in trouble. Let's just see what else we have here. Well, here's the thing about Rambling Ryan. I'd be banning children from the internet before supporting authoritarian. We can't, you know what? Okay, Rambling Ryan, we don't want any, look, that goes into the government is impeding on my privacy. Do you know on every platform I can find child sexual abuse material? Now, call me wacky, everybody, but isn't it against the law, anything with minors? So if we have a bipartisan piece of legislation that makes big tech responsible for taking that down against minors, sign me up. I'm all for it. I think most of you are too. Hey, Mrs. L, I want kids' online safety. Okay, Gina, then start going. Find out who represents you. If you haven't done it already, house.gov, senate.gov, and write to them. I want Kids Online Safety Act. That's all you have to write. It'll be counted in with all the votes. Let's see what else we have. Crypto. We'd all get on board if we could vote every day and create a government-funded tapestry town hall style to create for humane programs to the ilk of billions spent on the big three. That's another program. We'll address that in the next live. Because if I ran the country, I got it all up here. I already know. Because remember, problems make money. Chaos makes money. Solving things doesn't really make money. I'm going to leave it at that. Ramblin' Ryan, let's see what you have to say. Okay, well, Rambling, don't sign up for the Kids Online Safety Act. Don't help us out. Don't, do what you want. Everybody can do what they want. Kim says, working in a homeless shelter, drugs have been around forever. Now they're using it against our children. Yes, more weaponization. And that is why we have to be the ones who talk about fentanyl, educate about fentanyl. It is so dangerous. It is one pill kills. It's just no is one of our hashtags. Understand the tiniest, the tip of a pencil point can poison you and kill you. I can't tell you the parents who tell me the same story over and over. We had dinner, we kissed goodnight, we said goodnight, went to the bedroom the next morning, and you know the rest of the story. And then it's found out they bought pills online, a friend gave them pills because they're buying these illicit drugs. We know about 70% of all of these pills bought contain fentanyl, right? So, and even with Dirty Diddy, the story was allegedly he gave people horse trank. So, we've got a lot of work to do, everybody, but I am convinced that if we come together, I call this what we're doing right now, kind of a town forum, we can solve. If we don't think about the big picture too much, we think about just one person a day helping, talking to, sharing the information from the warriors, just talking about it. Do not get sidetracked. Do not let anybody have free rent in your brain. And I'm going to leave you with that. Remember, community creates change. That is our hashtag. We truly believe that. I want each and every one of you, by being here tonight, you've already proven you're a warrior. Information, facts, be kind. And remember, each and every day, wake up and be a warrior. Thank you. Have a good weekend. If we don't speak again soon tomorrow night, maybe we'll speak again live. Depends how the day goes. We've got parks to clean and kids to work with and grown-ups. We will speak again very soon. Good night, everybody.